Daniel, you've gotten to share a couple of cool stories and tell us a little bit about what you get to do in the homes. Could you spend a minute just talking about the three counties that you've worked in? What have you loved? What have you experienced? What's some of the differences? You worked in Trinity County, you're in Shasta County, you've been down to Butte County. So, talk to us a little bit about the differences for those three counties.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess first off would be probably my first experience was over in Trinity County. Again, the main community that I went into when I went and worked with the family that was living there is a very small, tight-knit community. Everybody knew everybody that was there. And like even when I first started working with them, they were like, well, you'll know if you're not liked because you'll probably get run off potentially. But I stuck around for a long time, so I think we're doing pretty good on that front. But yeah, it was just great kind of seeing how everybody was connected. And when you showed up, you sort of became a part of the group and everybody knew who I was and I knew who most of they were. And they would stop by the house and check in and just to see how everyone was doing. And like the amount of visits that my client got just from family members and just the supportive community, the neighbors, all of them, it was just great to see. And then it works very differently when I'm, say, here in the Reading area in Shasta County, where it's a lot more larger town, larger city, maybe not as much family connection, but you can definitely see the more things that are available around. So usually it's like going to parks, taking them to Turtle Bay to see the museum there and to see the animals there, taking them to movie theater, just anything that would be available that we can go and do, we're going and seeing, okay, you want to go do this? We have lots of options. Let's figure out which one you want to do. We'll go and do that. And so that's kind of been my experience here. And then Butte County, also kind of a smaller town, but you can even see some differences with the family that I'm working there. When it comes to their cultural and religious beliefs, there are certain things they choose not to do and not partake in, and being able to understand that and know when you show up, you do not broach these topics of discussion. You do not go to these certain places. You got to make sure that you're kind of fitting the need that's present there. And so it's all different, and it's all sort of just being able to understand and be able to respect those differences and just be able to kind of fit yourself in there and understand how you can be effective in those situations. So while they're not necessarily super different via county, the locations that there are can allow those differences to be present. But it's more family differences, I would say, that are more prevalent over county differences. But yeah.
Yeah, you spoke to some of the demographic changes and some of the resources or community that's naturally there. You touched on some of the cultural pieces of the family. Could you express just a little bit of the differences in some of the family culture that you've experienced as well?
Yeah, sure. Again, like with the first family that I was with, like their doors were open for the most part at all times, and neighbors would come in and check in, other family would come in and check in, and then I'm working with another family where it's very much closed doors. They don't want people just stopping by and walking in whenever. They want to know when you're showing up, be able to have you on a schedule when you arrive, and all those differences are great because it meets the need of that family when it comes to that specific one. But then there's also like difference in values, certain things that they are allowed to watch, things that they're not allowed to watch, certain conversations you can have, and just being able to recognize where you are essentially treading into areas that you probably shouldn't be going into is a big part of the job, and making sure that you're not accidentally offending anyone. So just kind of going in with an open mind and being able to take in everything that you can, figure out essentially where you're able to fit to a degree without overstepping, making sure that you're not, I'm trying to think of a good word for it.
Intrusive, taking over.
Yeah. Just not being
undermining.
intrusive. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And just being able to recognize that. So,
Yeah, you probably bring some of your own education experience, but going into each home, you're probably a student every time, huh?
oh yeah, for sure.
Have to ask lots of questions.
Yeah. The first 2 days are pretty much always learning days, and just learning what the family does, how they do it, and then learning where I can fit in and be able to provide support essentially. And it's different for everybody.